Okay. Pulling up a bit of notes now. My voice is a bit lost, but I'm trying my best. So we'll see how we go. But basically, yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I'm COOLHORSEGIRL, or CHG. I lead BD at Tally, the governance platform. And I want to talk about liquid staking for governance tokens. Basically, I don't want to make it an ad, but liquid staking for governance tokens is a really, really cool thing that I think the tides are turning on, whether you join the Tally protocol or a different one. So we'll see how we go. I need to pull up some notes on my phone, which we'll see if it happens. Maybe not. Okay, cool. So maybe we'll start here. The incentives behind governance tokens are extremely misaligned. So when you think about governance token, take the example of like Uni for Uniswap. Governance tokens intermingle financial utility and organization utility, failing at both. So what does that mean? That means that most governance tokens people want to use in DeFi, right? Why would, what's your incentive to vote for Uniswap DAO over changes in Uniswap protocol, when instead you could use Uniswap, your token, in DeFi and earn yield on it, right? When you think about like the monetary incentives, they're extremely misaligned, right? But organizational utility, which is basically voting, is your other option. So this sort of graph thing shows it well. When the token price is really low, it becomes trivial to attack the DAO, right? There's no treasury, there's no point in it. But when the token price goes up, everybody puts their tokens on the market to sell or uses them in DeFi, meaning that the DAO is far, far more vulnerable to attacks. On top of that, DAOs really, really, really struggle with setting security parameters. So if we still think of Uniswap, for example, how do you set the actual parameters for how many tokens should be required for quorum to pass a Uniswap proposal or to stop a Uniswap proposal from passing? So the total token supply, right, Uniswap declared years ago, that's what DAO security parameters should be based on. But to actually participate in the DAO, you have to be delegated. So that's already one step, extremely lower. You have to guesstimate security parameters based on how much are delegated, right? You have to hope that of these delegated tokens, hopefully, 20% of them vote, 50% of them vote. On top of that, undelegated tokens for sale are in DeFi and in sexes, which means they're sort of locked up over there, contributing to the token supply that's being used, but not contributing to the security of the DAO, or AKA people actually voting to stop a malicious proposal from being passed. And finally, average participation's even more shit than the rest of them. So you're losing security as you think about how DAOs are incepted and then actually have to set their security parameters. So the quorum for passing a proposal is really, really low often. In some DAOs, it's as low as 2 to 5%. And this creates issues because you're able to pass a proposal if you buy up a bunch of tokens for like a 51% attack. How that could look, we'll go here. DAOs are actively struggling with this problem where it is both possible and maybe almost recommendable in a morally decrepit way to attack a DAO. So this ENS example is very clear. If you saw the recent-ish forum post about 2 months ago on ENS cancel roll, the cancel roll within ENS is being developed in order to sort of put an end, put like a centralized way to stop a malicious ENS proposal from going through, because at the point where the red and blue lines intersect, it becomes more financially wise, I guess, to attack the DAO. So what this means is that there's enough tokens that are available on the market that you could buy up in order to attack the DAO with a 51% attack. So what that would look like is, it's a lot of money, but people can definitely do it. You could buy $50 million worth of ENS or whatever it is on here. Yeah, it's about $70 million. You could buy $70 million of ENS. You would have more voting power than the entire active DAO combined, and you could drain the ENS treasury. So even though it would cost you like $70 million to pull off, you'd be getting the entire ENS treasury out of it, which is about $150 million at this point. So if people are aware of this and looking to attack the DAO, it can be done. This ENS example is extremely clear. The rest of these are clear in other ways. Oh, you're up there. Yeah, you're up there. Yeah. Okay. Michael saved us from Open Zeppelin and Compound. It looks like there's 5 delegates or 5 addresses that are hoarding comp from an exchange. The same thing could happen with Compound, right? People could have enough tokens to pass a 51% attack in Compound, or not even 51%, just hope that nobody has enough quorum to vote against a proposal to potentially drain the Compound treasury. Okay, simple one. To remain viable, DAOs must return value to token holders and maintain security. So what these two mean, return value to token holders is right now a lot of governance tokens are sort of like shitcoins, right? They have minimal utility besides voting. People are sort of just on hopium with them. But by the DUNA framework in the US, you're allowed to receive staking rewards for work. One type of work, there's 5, is governance. And all you have to do governance is like press a delegate button. It's really not that hard, but you're able to earn staking rewards just by pressing delegate legally, which is cool. DAOs also need to maintain security. So that means DAOs need to get a hold of voting power that's out and about, basically. So where it's out and about could be in sexes, it could be in DeFi, it could be just undelegated sitting in random people's wallets. But the DAOs got to get it back, or else DAOs could be fucked. Okay, so this is the one ad slide of the thing. Okay, the Tally protocol solves this. It's a liquidity layer for governance staking and restaking. So you put your governance token into the Tally protocol. For example, you put your uni into the Tally protocol, you would receive a T uni that can be used in DeFi. And then you also are earning staking rewards on your uni that's auto-compounded. At any point, you can pull it out of the protocol. It's not locked up. And you'd get the underlying token, the uni, as well as the auto-compounding staking rewards. On top of that, potentially even more important, so that's solving the part 1. Token holders have to get some value. Part 2, the DAOs have to maintain a better level of security so they can't get 51% attacked. The Tally protocol is able to redistribute voting power back to the DAO to decide what to do with it. So many people don't care about governance, right? They might be bullish on Uni or Compound or Gitcoin or any other governance token, but they don't care about actually governing themselves, right? So you put your Gitcoin or Uni or Compound into the Tally protocol. You can delegate it yourself, or you can just leave it in there and keep it in there. And the Tally protocol will delegate it for you to a default strategy or to one that the DAO actually agrees on. So I'll explain what this means a bit. So for TLC token holders that choose not to delegate their voting power, the protocol can return undelegated voting power for the DAO for redistribution to active delegates. What that would mean, for example, is if we're talking to, say, Arbitrum, you deposit your your ARB into the Tally protocol, you get TARB, and then you don't care to delegate it, right? The Arbitrum DAO can vote as part of their current DAO functionings. They can vote where should the voting power default go within the Tally protocol for Arbitrum DAO. So maybe Arbitrum has a trusted group of 15 delegates. Maybe they want to distribute voting power to underrepresented delegates. We've seen some of this in Uniswap. But the DAO can put it wherever it wants, meaning the DAO's regained this voting power, so it's able to stop malicious proposals as it wouldn't have been as currently stands, because that voting power is, like I said, in someone's random wallet, in sexes, or locked up in DeFi earning yield there. Then on top of that, tokens that are locked in DeFi or restaking services automatically return their voting power to the DAO in the same way that just undelegated tokens within the Tally protocol do. So if you're Arbitrum DAO, you're regaining all of these voting power from these tokens that you can use to fight against some of these malicious proposals, making it so that all those examples in the beginning with ENS, Compound, Aragon, Nouns, Uniswap, there's many more, I think, undiscovered, isn't possible because now the DAO has the voting power back. So you've got security, and then you've also got some cash for the holders. Finally, this is just sort of a summary situation. So speculative holders are able to participate in DeFi without hurting the operational security of the DAO. This is something super important with governance token holders because you think most governance token holders are not buying the governance token because they want to participate in governance. Those are the facts, right? They're buying the governance token because they're bullish on Uniswap or bullish on Compound, and they're hoping token go up. That means that they want to participate in DeFi with these tokens, obviously earning yield, and they don't want to hurt the operational security of the DAO, meaning get it 51% attacked because they're participating in DeFi. So whether you're an active DAO member and you want to retain your voting power and participate in the DAO gets security, or you want to put it in DeFi or leave it in your wallet or whatever, you're also contributing to security, which is also good for them because they're not going to lose their entire bag as well. And kind of wrapping up here, but I can answer some questions too. Tally protocols under development with an initial version to be done in the summer of 2024. So we're targeting the very end of August as of now. You can take a picky of this QR code, and it's a link to the sort of really long mirror post that breaks down every single part of this. Try to keep it a bit high level. You can always ping me on Telegram or on Twitter. But yeah, we're really excited. Liquid staked governance tokens are definitely the future of governance, whether you go through the Tally protocol or elsewhere. So it's an exciting concept to talk about. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. I won't promise I can answer them all, but I'll pass them off to someone who can if I can.
Okay, we have two questions from the audience.
First of all, thank you. I think this is long overdue and, great utility that governance tokens can have. So how do DAOs opt in?
That is a great question. So how DAOs opt in, there's two parts to actually turning this on. First, you have to enable staking. So Unistaker is probably going to be proposed and passed in the next month or so. We're talking, there's a forum post on Arbitrum right now about turning on Arbitrum staking. So DAO has to agree to staking. And then DAOs get in contact with sort of Tally to co-market this availability to deposit within the Tally protocol. There's sort of different levels to which the DAO is able to control the fate of the tokens that are put into the Tally protocol, right? Tally's not maintaining the voting power at all. Tally's not trying to capture your DAO, but the DAO can vote on where these tokens should go, or the DAO can trust Tally to give it to our list of maybe 15 priority delegates. But basically, first step, get in touch, and we'll show you the way. It's turning on staking and then turning on the Tally protocol, the two steps. Thanks, Yana.
So great presentation. Appreciate the shout out. I think this is a really good solution, but I'm wondering, what do you do about like giving a good default answer to how redelegation is done? Because like if, for example, the DAO is kind of in a place where like we're struggling to make decisions, we're kind of like in a place where we need to implement this, but we can't immediately answer how we want to redelegate. Is there like a good default they can have that Tally would provide, or a recommendation?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question as well. We've been thinking a lot about that exactly because that's where people tend to misunderstand the Tally protocol, right? Tally is not capturing the voting power. We're either giving it to the DAO to redistribute, or it'll go to a default Tally solution. What that could look like, I'm very interested in talking about if anybody has ideas, as it's not finalized at all yet. Right now, we're thinking about a list of 20 to 30 sort of priority delegates that we would recommend, where we would distribute voting power evenly amongst 30 recommended delegates that we've been in touch with. Right now, we're speaking with a lot of like the most voting power delegates at Arbitrum, Uniswap, Compound, and Wormhole about if they'd like to partake in this like delegate priority program, and we could redistribute the power directly to those maybe 30 people. But we're definitely interested in hearing about the best solution. Obviously, we don't want a rich get richer situation in terms of delegation, but we also don't want to be delegating, of course, to like potentially malicious actors. So it's a fine line to walk, and at the end of the day, the DAO can decide exactly what to do with the extra tokens, but Tally also wants like a good default solution. So right now, I think list of 30 delegates that we distributed evenly across is the current idea, but we'll see how it develops. Go ahead.
Thank you. So with L2s, obviously there's sequencer fees that are kind of powering the capital side. I'm wondering, do you need like a sustainable source of capital in order to make this work? Because you were saying folks that are locking the tokens are going to be receiving some kind of yield. I'm wondering, like with Gitcoin, I don't know that they have like a sustainable source of capital coming in right now. Is that, do you need that piece in order to make it work?
Yeah, also a good question. The protocols themselves, I think it's prioritized for protocols that have a sustainable source of income. So right now, yeah, Arbitrum gets fees off of sequencers, Compound and Uniswap make money. I think they're, of course, our first targets for integration. That said, the staking fees could be lower on things like Gitcoin or protocols that don't have a sustainable source of income at the moment. But there's still benefits to using the Tally protocol, right? Because you can earn that degree of staking fee. You still get the voting power for the DAO, and then also you can use it in DeFi, which maybe you're getting money from putting it in a Gitcoin uni pool, on Uniswap. So although it's probably more beneficial for DAOs with a sustainable source of income, it's a good idea primarily for security for the DAOs that don't have it, like Gitcoin, and then hopefully they will have it someday, and you're already locked in.
We got that for one week.
Yeah, what I have seen over the last few weeks and months, and forgive me if I'm somehow mixing things up, but I've seen people toast their Tally links on Twitter and from delegates or potential delegates. So what is that outside of the liquid staking? What is currently existing from Tally protocol in terms of delegates, and how does that work, and what is it?
Yeah, for sure. So there's sort of two different things. Tally is a governance platform. We've never had a protocol. It's just a front end for other DAOs. So like Compound, Gitcoin, Uniswap, Aave, Rari. They run their governance on Tally. And then now we're building a protocol. So a Tally DAO will govern this protocol, meaning ultimately who decides on the default delegation strategy that Michael talked about is going to be the Tally DAO that will pick it. So it's also fully decentralized, which is cool because Tally's always been a platform for on-chain decentralized organizations, and now we're actually becoming one.
Perfect. Thank you, COOLHORSEGIRL, for the presentation and answering all the questions.
Thank you, guys.